folks, and welcome to another episode of Geekdom World. I'm Will D.
I'm Alex Evans, and I'm a geek.
And I am an otaku. So we're going to start off with something that happened in the world of anime. There's been a big series the last decade, pretty much, called Jujutsu Kaisen. Everybody calls it JJK. Probably one of the most wow, this came out of nowhere because, and more so than the manga, right? This really took off when it finally hit an anime. And the first episode starts off with the main character, Itadori, having absolutely no powers, fighting a demon trying to destroy and eat people at his school. And he just fights it off with pure strength, right? And then eats a finger along the way that just hypes the whole thing up. So
he eats a finger to fight a human finger to
no,
fight
not a human finger, but he doesn't know that exactly.
Oh.
It looks like a human finger though. So right, but this scene was actually it was all over the internet. People were trying to find out what it was about, and I think that built up a lot of the buzz here in the States over just that one part from the episode, and built up a lot of buzz. And I mean, JJK was probably been one of the biggest rising animes, one of the biggest manga series the last 10 years. But the manga has finally finished. Just like My Hero Academia, this is the year that this one ends. I feel like the last time we saw a lot of major series coming to conclusion might have been 2020, 2021 when Haikyuu was ending. There were a lot of other series ending around that same time. So just wanted to do a little synopsis of JJK. So have you heard of Jujutsu Kaisen?
I have not.
You've never heard of Jujutsu Kaisen?
I don't know where you people find these.
Facebook.
Okay, fair. But then again, I'm not on Facebook anymore.
Instagram?
No.
Twitter?
I'm not very social on social media. I have Snapchat, but I just use it to talk to people.
Wow.
I'm very out of touch.
You are connected and disconnected. You are everything Neo wished he could be.
well, what can I say? A lot of those. I just feel we'll get back into the JJK in a moment. Yeah. I guess in terms of social media, it's just, I don't want to name names. It's no one I know personally, but I don't know. Sometimes that shit sometimes there's just people out there who ruin that for me.
I feel you.
Like that little twerp who crashes McLaren. You heard about that one?
No.
Some popular streamer YouTuber guy was driving his $200,000 car down a rainy highway in Florida. He was looking at his phone at the same time
and streaming. Yeah, I did that one.
Yeah, and conveniently, his but yeah, no, he's getting clowned on everywhere. Even SNL, even Saturday Night Live, took a jab at him.
Of course. How do you stream and then you're texting, driving, and all that, and crash your super fancy car like a dum-dum?
Well, clearly people will do anything for likes, comments, subscribers, followers, brand deals.
Yeah, but
clout.
Now you're not going to get that because you crashed. If you're going to do something, do it big and do it right.
Unless the people who, give him that kind of attention are as dumb as he is.
To be fair, that might be a thing.
It is a thing.
But nah.
Anyways, back to JJK.
JJK, right. Thing about it is, in general, right? Although I feel you on the social media thing, mm-hmm. What I love about stuff more specifically Facebook than even Instagram. Instagram is great if you want highlights. Same thing for Twitter half the time.
Or Reels?
No, that's what I'm saying. Highlights. So it's highlights of whatever's going on, right? Okay. So between the Reels that will actually show clips, it would probably, I've definitely seen the reel of the Itadori scene eating the finger and fighting a monster on Instagram as well. Mm-hmm. But also, updates. So if you're a big anime head, follow Crunchyroll. There are various verified Crunchyroll related accounts, and you get the latest updates on stuff that's happening, right? And they'll show pictures and promo trailers and stuff like that. So you can use it like that. But the same thing for Facebook is that Facebook actually still has groups like old MySpace used to, right? And so there, if you want to be a collective, talk with another collective of peers essentially. They got groups for all geeks, groups for if you're black and you want to talk to only other blurs, because there's certain things they were like, we can talk anime, we can also talk hip hop kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? They have the group for you on Facebook, and if you don't find a group for you, you can make one, right? And it's not a plug for Facebook, but it's just more so to find out about series like this when they're first coming out. Yeah, so I use social media more so for that than to even talk to people that I know or network. Like, I don't do that.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I find all these like not animes, but like I found out about a bunch of these older shows I never even heard of on like YouTube and stuff. Like some channel will like play a clip from an old show. Like what's one that I like? I can't think of one. Oh wait, yes I can. Like that anime about the little white lion. I found out about that through YouTube.
See, the only thing is with YouTube, right? Because especially with like related videos and stuff like that, you kind of have to know what you're looking for. It's a little bit harder to stumble upon things than on a regular social media site. Because I feel like the algorithm is just better curated for you. Where on YouTube, it can also be based on the streamers, network of friends or content. So it just kind of I feel like especially the meta ones kind of cater to you. What I like about Twitter specifically when it comes to not just anime but media in general is that there are a lot of people who don't use the same Facebook or Instagram for various reasons, depending on the country, whatever. But Twitter seems to be an overall, and I'm not calling it X. Twitter seems to be this great way to get resources on foreign news and media. Recently, there was a series that came out that, it seemed like it ended so quickly in only 30-something chapters. And the only way I got confirmation that, yes, this was done was because the only official social media account on it was on Twitter. And they had a press release from the Japanese author and everything saying that, like, yeah, this is all done, whatever. And it just felt like, really? It's like 35 chapters or something like that. You're like, what the heck? So
all this talk about like like when you find out all this stuff ends and stuff, like it honestly makes me wonder what do these people, where does the inspiration come from? How long does it take for them to publish it? When do they, and what do they do once they've told all their stories? Do they go and make something new? Do they? I don't know. It's just like I find out about all these animes and stuff. I see them everywhere, and I'm just like, where do they come from? Where do they go?
Literally, we can actually do a whole thing on that for an episode or for a segment where we talk about the process of creating a manga and turning it into an anime. But the long and short of your question is, it works like any book, right? Any comic series. The author and his team will tell the tale they want to tell, and then conclude it how they're going to conclude it based on several things. Publisher or production request, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw that Bleach got extended past where Kubo initially wanted it to end because Shonen Jump was just like, yeah, we're making money, give us more. He literally said, I'm taking a 6-week hiatus to figure out what to do and then coming back, and then came out with a whole way to give his main character back his powers and a whole new story arc that's now finally being animated. But like, we're not gonna get into all that. But yeah, like stuff like that has happened. When Naruto ended, even with the Boruto project about to start, Kishimoto released Samurai 8 somewhere in there. And I think before that, there was a baseball one-shot that he did as well. Most people don't know that his twin brother created a series called Dragon Drive, and I don't even think that had all the way to the end because, like Kubo's first project, Zombie Powder, if there's not enough fan base, viewership, or reading, they're like, this isn't worth the money. And they just leave it, that last volume unfinished, whatever the case may be, boom. You have other series like Berserk, where the Ka died. So, like, Hunter x Hunter fans are just like, hey, bro, can you just wrap it up real quick before you croak too? Yeah. Their fan base is so loyal that just a picture of the characters created by the creator gets them hyped for months.
Just throw them a pic. like just like dangling a big piece of red meat,
That's it.
feeding it to the doggies.
So things like that.
No, I didn't mean to call.
Yes, we get you. But even One Piece, right? Ichiro Oda has worked on a bunch of side projects in the middle of One Piece. One Piece has an ending. He's just taking his time getting there. So, every Ka has their approach. For various reasons, a series can end, a series can be rushed. Go back to Bleach, from the sounds of it, we were cut short 5 years of that project because the ratings weren't keeping it high in the rankings, and they were like, but out of respect for this being what it is, we'll give you a chance to wrap it up. So, we can get through that whole, we can do something about that before. But when it comes to JJK, although this is the ending of the manga, there is buzz that their creator has talked about creating a part 2. And the way that JJK ends is like, they wrap up the whole story with Sukuna, which is the main villain from day one, the finger that he ate, the sorcerer turned demon, which is why I said it's not quite a human finger, but details for if you read it. But they continue to allude that there's more sorcerer content to be had, and we know that during JJK, there's a whole thing towards these final chapters where they introduce the fact that the world is aware of the sorcerer issue happening in Japan and how sorcerers came to be and the fight against the demons. It's realistic to believe that it could be a global pandemic of sorts. Right. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the series, some of my favorite parts, some of the parts I didn't like. I'm actually going to start this off with the overall ranking just because I just want to get that from people. And despite all the hype behind this series, I have to give it a 7 out of 10. Right? Because I
gave you your
right. No, I just feel like almost anyone I know who's into JJK or follows JJK is like, it's amazing, it's great. But at the end of the day, it has a really big pacing issue, right? I remember at one point there's a major battle that happens, and it's probably the biggest part in the storyline until the final fight, right? The Shibuya arc. There is the death of a major character in the Shibuya arc. I literally am reading through the series, after the Shibuya arc. First off, when it first transitions from where that ends to the next chapter, which is a time skip, like I said, a pacing issue, I was confused as to how we even get to the time skip. Like, it didn't even feel like the last part of the Shibuya arc had wrapped up the arc. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
They do a time skip. They go into this whole new thing called a culling game arc.
Culling game?
Yeah, it's a specific
basically just
game
killing each other.
Of sorts. It's way more complicated. And that's another reason why I have to give this 7 out of 10. This is a series that has a very straightforward premise. This is a series where I get that there is a respect for power scaling, especially in the anime community, about how, like, if you give people OP powers, there needs to be a way to balance them out, right? So there are a lot of rules to someone getting an ability in this series and the way that it cancels out or balances out and stuff like that, and I get that. But, like, the culling game itself is one of the most convoluted, structured mass murdering events in anything in anime. And that sounds like it should be like, well, that sounds super rare. No, mass murdering in anime and manga is like a thing. Right? Like, just it's a thing. Future Diary, Doubt. What's that school where they go to the island and they start killing each other?
Lord of the Flies?
No, similar to it. Shoot.
Well, when you mentioned Doubt, I was thinking of a play.
Well, it's probably based off it very similarly, but all in all, there is a huge issue with how, like, they just take some of these really great ideas and literally just like them. Yes, like I'm trying to get into the story and I'm literally just lost in all of the, not like the talking, if it makes any sense. This is an action series and the talking is very convoluted from beginning to end, but the action is really good. The premise is really good. You have some standout characters that aren't even the main characters. I feel like Gojo has become another staple of the silver-haired fox in anime, like, Kakashi. And I feel like it's a fun series overall. It's just that sometimes it was just really dense when it didn't need to be.
I'll take your word.
Yeah, take my word.
No, I mean, you're giving it a 7 out of 10. Your reasons are more legit than whatever reasons IGN could give it a 7 out of 10.
Well, that's true, but IGN is IGN.
That they are.
On that note, we're going to go to our first commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man 4 problems.
When are there not?
We'll be right back. That was 15? Oh, wow.
Come, let's play. LDM Radio. Come, let's play. Fun is what we crave.
Let's go. You're listening to New York City's LDM Radio. Another long stretch of continuous music. Back into time. Flashback.
Make my move, gonna live my dream, gonna make my move.
New York City's LDM Radio.
The best radio station in the world is right here, right now.
All right, so we're back. And tell me what's going on with Spider-Man 4 now? Because the last thing I know, they didn't even have their Spider-Man yet.
If there's if there's 3 things that are always common, it's these. You're dread going to work in the morning. Your breakfast is too expensive, and there's always some new update with the Tom Holland's 4th Spider-Man movie. Now, I feel there's been a lot of stuff. I think ever since the final trailer for Venom: The Last Dance dropped.
Right.
Because we found out the villain was going to be Null, the god of symbiotes. Mm-hmm. Now, and ever since then, we've been hearing news about what Sony's doing, what Marvel's doing. So, as of right now, we're hearing that Spider-Man 4 is going to be like a cosmic level threat, cosmic level story. Null, who's going to be in this new Venom movie, he's going to be in Spider-Man 4. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man might be in it. It's going to be between both. It's going to be released in between. Sorry, it's going to come after Avengers Doomsday, but before Avengers Secret Wars.
Okay. And
we're hearing a plethora of other things, like supposedly Shang-Chi was going to be in it. The director of Shang-Chi, Destin Daniel Cretton, he was going to be directing it. Supposedly, the title is going to be called Spider-Man: King in Black, which is based off of a popular storyline involving Spider-Man, Null, Venom. So it's just something new every day. And I'm hearing it from all the same people, all the same, trusted insiders and who they get their information from.
Right.
It's exciting but tiring at the same time. Because obviously, I want these movies to go bigger and bolder. But it's Sony. Anything that hasn't really been Spider-Verse movies, great. All the other Spider-Man movies they've done, great. The Venom movies, okay. All of their but then you got Morbius, Madam Web, and now Kraven the Hunter that really, have damaged what Sony's been trying to do. So it's just no.
I don't see it that way. Okay, granted. Venom 1, good.
Yeah, not bad.
Venom 2, how do you mess up Carnage, right?
Well, to be fair, I wasn't able to see it because it came out during COVID and stuff. But I heard it was pretty mid.
It was very mid. But my thing is Madam Web. I think the issue with what they did with Madam Web was literally make a movie about a character that most people remember being an annoying old lady in the animated series. Why? Why are we?
I'm still watching that show. I've been watching the animated show on Disney Plus. I'm just about to start the episode where he meets the Punisher, the Neogenic Nightmare arc.
But I mean, honestly, you go back to a lot of those old '90s Marvel cartoons. and that is an expected standard from the product being produced now. Because I mean, these movies are coming out for pretty much our generation who watch that, right? When we're talking Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, the Justice League Unlimited,
X-Men?
Spider-Man, X-Men. Well, they brought back '97 with much applause to how they did that.
Such a
but
good show.
Even the Silver Surfer, a lot of people forget Silver Surfer had a 1-season show that was excellent back in the day.
Yeah, no, like it's actually funny because like after I started watching X-Men the animated series, I saw. I mean, I wanted to watch the rest of those because by the time I was born, those shows were all ending. Like Spider-Man, X-Men,
Spider-Man Unlimited should have been ending.
Spider-Man and X-Men. Well, okay, X-Men had 5 seasons. Spider-Man, I guess, has 5.5.
Something.
Because Spider-Man Unlimited is just Spider-Man season 6, right?
Sort of. I mean, yes, but no.
It picks up where 1 left off.
It sort of continues from the ending of that, and then it's him, but not on Earth, and yeah.
And meanwhile, you got like 1-season wonders like Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four, Hulk, Iron Man.
But I think with those shows too, they do have later iterations. I think also done through Disney,
right?
And some of them might be better. Actually, I would argue that there's a Hulk series that's way better, where it's like Hulk and his friends and family.
Agents of Smash.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh yeah, that
was great.
I've heard about that one. It's like Hulk can actually like he's not like dumb. He's like he can talk in full senses. He's like he like has like self-control. It's not
Hulk
like
retaining parts of Banner.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So basically what they did in the MCU.
Well, sort of
to an extent.
I
know
Banner more in control of Hulk, and it's a whole. When it comes to Hulk and Banner's relationships and the different variations, it's like Vegito versus Gogeta. Like one's in the other one's body. Right.
Or I guess like Venom inside Eddie Brock.
Right. So it's one of those sort of things. But Sony, like I said, you said Spider-Verse, right? When it comes to a lot of these, I feel like Sony's like DC, where animated is the way to go. But their movies that have been flops are flops because they're about characters that most people don't care about. Like, would Morbius really deserve a full movie? No. Would Craven? I will argue that Craven probably had the most potential to be something different, but not if it's actually Craven. Right? No one really wants a Craven background story. But if he had some sort of like cool, super strong hunter thing going on and just its own verse, that would have been interesting. I think they missed a real opportunity with the dark verse they were building based off of Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Oh, the dark universe. Oh, I wanted that to do so well too.
Yeah. That would have been a good way to do Morbius and whatnot. What they were building there, and I think they were trying to do that with these superheroes, and that was the error. Because like even the ending of Madam Web introduces these lady Spider-Man, and I'm just like, hey, you realize if you actually did a story about the lady Spider-Man and then added Madam Web later, like, the way that she was in, it could have been a much better movie, like low key.
I didn't think about that. I mean, like, no, it's just like, I mean, you make good points. You really do. I mean, the damage is done. I think. I
mean, if we're talking Spider-Man, right, at the end of the day, yes, it's a Sony product. Yes, they're going to be adding their Venom into the Spider-Man storyline.
Well, we actually,
it's not confirmed yet, but come on now, there's Noel's going to be in it.
Well, I just remembered something else. Another rumor I had heard. So supposedly Tom Hardy is going to be done playing Venom after these 3 movies. So who's going to get the symbiote? Well, on one of the channels I regularly listen to, supposedly it's going to be the Scorpion. Apparently in the comics, Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, he gets the Venom symbiote. So far, that's what I've heard.
I mean,
that could be interesting.
Venom has bounced around to several individuals throughout the comics.
Like, I'm pretty sure like every superhero and villain has bonded with a symbiote, right?
I think there's a specific storyline where that happens, but it's not like canon to everyone's history.
I mean,
which is weird.
Maybe, but I mean, if we can get a symbiote Wolverine soon on the big screen, that'd be great.
I think we would have to wait for a Deadpool Wolverine 2 to happen first. And that's up in the air from what I'm hearing. Like, that's actually been in discussions after how well that movie did.
Well, I mean, Hey, as long as Ryan Reynolds and his team makes most of the decisions, because no studio bigwig is gonna. I mean, basically, Ryan Reynolds did with did what Dead. Sorry, words. Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool and Wolverine what Dwayne Johnson couldn't do with Black Adam. I think.
I can somewhat agree with that. The issue being that Ryan Reynolds had way more control.
Right, and
way more control.
Ryan Reynolds.
Plus, Deadpool is a more beloved comic character. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like Deadpool, you have Deadpool, who even people who aren't big on the whole X-Men thing will know specific X-Men, right? Like they know Wolverine, they may know Cyclops, Storm, because they're in a whole bunch of other stuff too, right? A lot of Marvel stories revolve around the Summers family, period, right? Jean Grey and all that. But they know Deadpool, and he's not even an original X-Men. He's a bad guy, right? But yeah,
I feel like
he starts off as a bad guy. He's just a regular mercenary, and he goes back and forth, like being hired as a rival, and then ends up joining the team at some points in time, and then has the whole like X-Force. Like he's just a point of like the X family after a while. But
I always thought he was an anti-hero, not a full-on villain.
Well, okay, fair, but I'm just saying he's someone that they're fighting all the time.
Right. No.
Right? And then you had the whole Spidey pool thing that happened.
Oh yeah, we still that can we get that on the big screen?
I would
please?
love that.
We need that.
But I mean, there's a lot going on where like now that you have somebody working on that project who's a fan of the project, who it's something that the people want. He finally gets the R rating to do it correctly, and then you have Dwayne Johnson who thinks that this is a cool story, likes the guy, and just like, hey, you guys put this together for me. It's different. It's a different production.
That's not how it works.
And he still put in the work to pull in Henry Cavill, and the studios messed that up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he did what he could do, right? He knows his limitations. He did what he could do. He had an interest on something that could have been a really good project. And I will say that compared to a lot of the other DC movies that have come out, it's above mid. Not to say it's good. I have issues, but it's better than a lot of them.
I enjoy that it was different. I mean, for once, it's not a Batman or Superman movie. It's
true.
It's and I loved Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
Yes, that was excellent.
He definitely stole the show, and I thought the villain looked kind of cool. I mean, look, that's what I get for listening to conflicting information that's not always the most verified. So, I'm willing to. I mean, there's still a lot of things we don't know about, like. There's still a lot of things I don't know about, like what really happened behind the scenes of Black Adam. I mean, I saw it. I was like, okay, not bad, not bad.
It was a movie that had a lot of potential to be better, and I don't think that it was bad. But for a lot of DC, I haven't been happy with it, and especially since it started off so strong with Man of Steel.
Well, I mean, I to this day, I think the biggest problem was the studio bigwigs, wanting to play catch up.
Yes.
To this day, I think. If they just let Zack Snyder alone, we could have gotten something real amazing.
I think the second biggest problem, because you're right about that, but the second biggest problem was the fact that there had to be theatrical cuts. Everybody who has seen the Snyder cut, the full version of the movies, has said, oh, it's finally a good movie. It's finally a better movie. It finally makes more sense. Pacing is very important, and I'm sorry. If Quentin Tarantino can get us to sit in a theater with an intermission to watch a comedy western, right, of sorts, or dramedy western, I should say, technically, right? Mm-hmm. You don't think we're going to sit in there for the same amount of time for a proper Superman, Batman, Justice League film? There are people who literally buy tickets before the release of an Avengers film to watch every single last Marvel movie for 3 whole days. Yeah. And you don't think that we're going to sit there for 4 hours to watch a proper DC movie? That is where the studios went wrong. I'm sorry.
The moment everyone came together and was like, "Oh, this version of Justice League is so amazing," but then everyone's like, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag release the Ayer cut, release the. They were this close, and they blew it. And I don't know. I mean, like I'll give James Gunn's Superman a shot. It looks like what he's trying to do is different. Sounds pretty cool. But I don't know. I'm not like keeping my fingers crossed with how the studio's gonna bite into it.
But I will always say that Snyderverse got robbed of a lot because the potential scene in the full cut of the Justice League, we could have had an amazing Doomsday movie.
Oh yeah,
amazing. Doomsday
and
movie.
that scene where he finds the black suit and his birth father Jor-El and his Earth father Jonathan speaking to him same time, like that's like that was an incredible scene.
They were great. I mean, they really messed himself up with Flashpoint. That movie pretty much put the nail in the coffin for Snyderverse.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, look what Ezra Miller's been doing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I had an issue with the casting of Ezra Miller since he was casted as Flash in the first place. But in general, that movie, I mean, there's a lot wrong with that movie. The best part about that entire movie was that snippet of animation that alludes to the Nicolas Cage Superman project.
I saw that whole clip with the animation, with the CG, and like I'll have to show you the video later, but it's like kind of funny. It's like the scene plays and then it cuts to that black frame with the thing at the line at the bottom. I'll show you after. I'll show you later on, but yeah, no, I didn't even bother with the Flash. Yeah. I didn't even bother with Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle was actually solid, so I would give it a watch because they said that he might be the only character, and they're questioning whether or not Wonder Woman that may actually continue with the same actor into the DCU.
What about John Cena's Peacemaker?
That is also up in the air because they may just leave that as a TV show. They may not come back into the actual movie version. Yeah.
So there's the Snyderverse, whatever the middle is, and then the James Gunn.
Yeah, the
universe.
DCEU. Then Peacemaker is the weird part of a TV verse that doesn't really fully exist because it's technically part of Snyderverse, but whatever. They may leave it alone.
The Snyderverse and a half.
Yeah, and then DCU. It's DCEU and DCU. Yeah. But on that note, we're going to go to our next commercial break, and you're going to see what's happening in our blogs. We'll be right back. Folks, we're back, and with me I got Kev. What's up?
What's going on, boss?
So you said you were going to be telling us a bit today about the new Dragon Ball game coming out this fall.
That's right. I have a little information for you guys.
All right, so drop some knowledge, man.
Well, the game is called Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zero. Now, what most people don't realize is that was the original name for the game, for the Dragon Ball Z series games, this game is basically a reboot of the Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi series.
Oh, the Tenkaichi series?
Yes. And that name, DBZ Sparkling Zero, was the original name for the game, but they went with Dragon Ball Tenkaichi instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, in your research, did you find anything as to why they changed it from Sparkling Zero, or?
Actually, no. They didn't really go into details of why they changed it. They just said that they changed it.
Well, I mean, fun fact, the original name for Sonic was Needle Mouse?
Yeah,
so it's probably one of those things.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's going to be featured in this game? What makes it new? What makes it different?
Well, basically, it's a reboot of all the first three,
Okay.
the whole series. So you're really gonna see a lot of the same stuff that you've seen in the last three, but they're gonna, it's like they're gonna repackage it,
Remastering
Yes.
that nonsense.
Yes.
Okay. Are we seeing just characters up to that point in the timeline? Are we going to get anything related to Super at all in it? Like, are we going to see like Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Red, or
Yes, we're gonna be seeing Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Red, and I even have it on good authority that we're gonna see some Super Saiyan God as well.
okay?
Yes.
So, which character have they shown? You know, like, have you seen any trailers of it or whatever? Like, which
Well-
character looks like that should be the one I should use to get through the game?
Goku. They've shown a lot of Goku stuff.
Of course,
and
of course.
yeah. My favorite character is Trunks, but they went with the Goku way.
And are they doing any online players? Like,
Yes, they will have an online mode to the game, which I think is very impressive.
oh, you've seen some of the 1v1s?
Yes.
All right, and who looks like they're taking it?
Well, I mean, I'm biased, so I'm gonna. I guess I'm
Oh,
gonna have
so
to say
Trunks just looks like he has the best.
all day.
Really?
Yes.
Now, why? Okay, why are you such a fan of Trunks? Because this is a Goku series. It's a Goku game. Like,
Well, because Trunks, he caught my eye when he killed Frieza, his father and his brother all at one time. That was pretty impressive to me.
and now I gotta ask though. Like, are you up to date on your Dragon Ball? Like, are you on it like that? Or are you on the games like that? You're not on the series like that.
Yes, both.
Oh, really? So what's the last thing you know happened in the series?
Let's see. The last thing I know happened in this series. It's been a while since I watched it. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a minute. The last thing I recall was Brawly and Goku getting into it.
Okay, so you got that far in
Yes.
front of the manga. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Now, are there any special like? Are they even mentioning anything with this new game release, like a tribute to Toriyama now that he passed away?
No, I
Does
haven't.
death affect the release or anything like that?
No, not at all. I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay, because I mean, this year we lost Akira Toriyama,
Yes.
and the whole
R.I.P.,
thing is
R.I.P.
his
Yes.
creation. I know, like, that's part of the delay in some of the manga releases recently and all
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
But I mean, he knew he was aging out. He was trying to pass the torch and
Mhm.
all that. I was just wondering if it had any effect on this particular game or
I
any.
mean, it probably has. It probably has.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. When does the game drop?
This game is due to release on 10/11/2024.
So, well, probably like about 2
Right
months
around
or
the
so.
corner.
Yeah, right around the corner. And it's gonna be. Can you get the physical copy, or is it only digital download?
From what I understand, you're gonna be able to get both.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm looking for right
Yes.
there. Because end of the day, sometimes you just want to own it. Because all right. How do you feel about the fact that they don't even give out the instructions anymore in video
You
games?
know,
Like that
That
really
kinda
blows
threw me.
mine,
That-
right?
Yeah,
Like,
it really does. Like, how could you not do that?
right, like I
We
remember
need that.
I remember that little booklet. Like I feel like I get that sometimes still in maybe a Nintendo game if you're lucky.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but like you used to get the booklet that said the instructions, the controls,
Yeah.
and like
Yes,
little
like
story.
we need that.
Like,
Like, how can you? Nah.
I'm the first one I read from start to finish over and over again was the one for like the old school Pokemon game. Like the red and the blue, and they had a little brown book. And you're
Yes.
like, oh, this is cool. There's a whole story to this. And like, oh, Pikachu.
First one
Like,
I can remember reading was the Zelda when Zelda. First
You read the
came
whole
out.
thing?
Yes,
oh man.
and I had the gold cartridge.
Oh,
Yes,
oh.
it's fancy, fancy.
What's your favorite game franchise? Is DBZ your favorite game franchise, or is it something else?
My favorite game right now,
Right now,
Fortnite.
does that really count as a game franchise,
Yes,
or is it just a game?
it's a franchise.
So there's a
Because
Fortnite
they-
2, there's a Fortnite 3, there's a 4x4.
Well, the seasons, Chapter 1, Season 2, Chapter 1, Season 3.
My TV
Yes.
shows have different seasons. I don't call them franchise. It's not a like Game of Thrones ain't really the franchise until you get House of
It's just
Dragons.
one. Well, yeah, because it's just one game. But with the Fortnite, It updates every so often, and it's always a different game. It's a new game. Like it's getting ready to update on the 16th, as a matter of fact.
On August 16th?
Yes,
Oh.
they're going into a Marvel season, which is amazing. Yes.
I think I did see some stuff about that, and I'm just like, I don't. I mean, hopefully
No free advertising, but absolute doom.
Hopefully, they actually don't get sued this time around, because Fortnite is known
for getting sued
for like stealing stuff. Known for it. I'm not mad at it. I mean, Carlton was.
But this is the second time they're using the
Marvel character.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they have the licenses and stuff now.
Okay.
I think they got the,
and before we go, since you mentioned Marvel,
yes,
and I think we'll talk more about this later with Alex. But what do you think about Robert Downey coming back into Marvelverse, not as Tony Stark?
I mean,
some brief. We're gonna get into it later, but
I don't agree, because in all the Avengers movies, he was Iron Man. So now we see him again as Dr. Doom. It's just going to confuse a lot of people.
You see,
he's Tony Stark.
You know what? It's that confusion that I'm looking most to. Because there's going to be people in the theaters who just like, did I miss a movie?
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
A lot of confusion.
Well, Kev, thanks for the update on the new DV game. And I think...
Well, let me just lead out with this. There's going to be 164 characters in this game.
164 characters?
Yes. So that's a lot of different variety. Yes.
And these like different characters or just with the variations?
Well, I believe most of it is going to be with variations, because it's going to be a lot of transformations. So yeah, I think most of it is going to be a lot of...
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
And if they got the Dragon Ball Super characters in it, maybe there's a little more than Tenkaichi going on in the game. Then you just ain't talking about it yet.
Well, I haven't heard anything about it yet. If I do, I will bring it to the people.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks, Kev, for coming.
Anytime.
And we'll catch you after this break. All right, and we're back. So with me is a unfamiliar face to those of you who are part of Geekdom World. But if you're familiar with the LDM Network, I have with me the co-host to the LDM show, Conrad. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I gotta put these glasses on. So talk to me.
Why are you trying to be a WWE?
Oh, there's something in the air.
Oh God! But yeah,
something in the air. I'll tell you.
See, a different vibe.
A different vibe.
But today, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions at our guest.
What do you want to ask me?
So first off, John Wick fan?
John Wick? Yes. Okay. Love the movies.
Anime fan?
Anime fan? Yes, I will say. I'm more of like old school anime, like Yu Yu Hakusho, whatchamacallit, Big O. There was this one anime show I remember on Toonami. Because remember Toonami on Saturdays had a lot of old school anime.
Course.
It was this one about this one with the guy with a suit, and then he had like a mech.
So are we talking Gurren Lagann, or are we talking Gundam Wing?
I think it was Gundam Lagann. I don't remember. I have to look.
It was like a little guy and a tall guy, and they had a mech together. Because that's Gurren Lagann. That's like colorful punk.
No, it was very like it kind of had like a Batman animated feel to it.
I'm guessing it's involved. I see. The funny part is I always forget the name of the anime, but the main character's name is Lelouch.
I think so.
Yes.
I think I know.
Yeah, and he like has his eyes sees the future and all this other nonsense. And he's like the government. He's trying to like take over the government.
I like that one, but I don't think it's that one. Not that one.
So,
but
dang, which one?
More
than a guy in a mech.
That was really hard. It is really hard because it was so like because in Toonami back in the day, it would show one anime and it would just be like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I'll look back up.
All
I'll
right.
look into it and I'll try to see it, and then I'll send you it. That way we can come back to it.
Okay.
But
Now, what about John Wick as an anime? Do you like that idea?
I feel like there's so much you can do with it. I'm all in for it.
Okay, because what's coming out now is a John Wick anime. And then what they're doing is making it a prequel series, so it'll be full on Baba Yaga.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. What was there was another anime with like I think where he like Afro Samurai. Like if it good like that's the art style, I'm all in for it.
Well, the art style, I haven't seen that yet, but they made that announcement that they're gonna do a prequel series. And I mean, me personally, I've seen what they did with Marvel projects going anime. And I'm thinking that if they do anything close to that, but with John Wick, like, all right, if they're in the live action version, he's killing people with pencils.
Yeah.
Right? What could they do in an anime? Right?
Oh
like,
yeah, that's the.
And then you have series like Demon Slayer, which made sword fighting, CGI cool, stuff like that. Like, what would you do with the John Wick is all blood, right? Like
exactly.
The first movie I fell in love with because I didn't know there were that many ways to do a headshot.
Yeah, it was very creative. It was like that one scene off of Batman where the Joker literally, I have this pencil, and he just goes, whap! That was creative as shit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a whole movie just full of like, pew, pew, pew,
and then on top of that, you have so much lore going into like the society.
True.
That's the thing I really want to get to know because we only heard of the society. There are rules to this.
Right.
Why are these rules put in place?
I mean, even the last prequel series, the Continental, right?
Mm-hmm.
The miniseries, they don't even fully explain the formation of the society and everything, right?
Exactly.
You're already in the middle of it. There's a story going on, and you're just kind of following stuff that leads more so into John Wick. But like, yeah, I'm wanting more. But I mean, this is going to be a John Wick prequel, right? So it's like part of the legends that make him
John Wick,
right?
The man that you shouldn't have messed with
in the
first place.
I mean, I'm sorry, but in general, the way that people love their puppies, I feel like anyone would become John Wick if you killed
100% sure. I bet you anything people would go to that extent for their animals.
I mean, you mess with my cats, and yeah,
100%.
I'm sorry, but I don't know. I'm pretty hyped on this project. I do know though that if certain studios get their hands on it, it might be a little meh. And I'm hoping that they don't go full on like Gurren Lagann, fully like colorful paper.
Oh yeah, no. I feel like it has to be kind of smoky, like basically like Afro Samurai.
Exactly.
Like in that type of art style.
Samurai Champloo.
Oh yeah, that one's really good. Samurai Champloo.
I think I would want something more along those lines where that kind of like funky after imaged art style.
Kind of like Cowboy Bebop.
Exactly.
There you go. That's literally
if you do that in a Cowboy Bebop art style. I think you'll pretty much
You got it, and you got so much like back history, and then also it's like if you think about it, Cowboy Bebop is kind of like John Wick.
For real though.
Spike is.
If you give him better armored clothes, because he actually had quite the nice fashion sense, but give him better armored clothes and maybe a bit, because that's the thing about Spike. We know there's more to him, right? And but we don't have the full story even by the end of the movies.
And then it's also like he's trying to run away from his past.
Exactly.
And then in John Wick, what is he trying to do?
He's actually returning after running away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of potential here, and I'm happy that they decided to do an animated series because we're also getting the ballerina right now, right? That's about to pop out.
Yeah.
And I think just letting that level of creativity and imagery would be something cool to add into the John Wick.
And also, I feel like a lot of anime now is just being too colorful. I think it kind of needs to go back to the grittiness, like the old school, like 90s pencil drawn type of art style.
I do like that grittiness. I miss that grittiness. But that is this short segment. I think you're going to join us for a couple more episodes, wrap things up with us. But we will catch you guys next time.